How are you there? Obanizod once again. Still talking about the fiscal balance, fiscal indiscipline, fiscal discipline. I said in the previous video that I advocate as the new Zimbabwe and any other country in Africa for that matter, that we should not be focusing on running a balanced budget for the sake of that, but we should be running deficits in our budget for infrastructural development, for developing the human capital of our people, putting upskilling our people, changing our education system such that it serves the needs of our economy, not the needs of the Western puppet of the Western uh, uh, multinationals who just want us to go to school so that we can fill in the post and be servants. Have that servanthood mentality. I'm glad that the Zimbabweans, God has taken them out of that servanthood mentality and is training them to be owners. So we need, as a government, we need to invest in institutions and build capacity to learn, to get our people to learn industry, to oil them so that they can be industry leaders in various departments. So for the government to afford that, we have to run fiscal deficits. And then you're going to ask me a question, where we're going to get the money from. First of all, I will tell you where we are not going to get the money from. We are not going to get the money from the IMF. We're not going to get the money from the World Bank. In fact, we must ban anybody from the IMF or the World Bank to come to our country. We must ban their offices. We must put sanctions on them. We don't want them. We don't want their advice. We do not need their money. Number 3, you are not going to get money from Wall Street. Okay, you're not gonna go to Wall Street and ask for money. If they wanna give money, they can come to you, but don't be in a rush to get their money. Don't be in a rush. I know you need to balance your basket of where you get your money from, but it should be minimal. Don't rush. Another place where we are not going to get the money from, where else? So you are not going to you are not going to borrow money from the World Bank, from the Reserve Bank, World Bank, IMF. You're not going to borrow money from other countries. Again, you understand, you're not going to borrow money from other people. Where are you going to get the money from? You are going to get money from your own monetary policy, from your own central bank. You are going to quantitatively ease, you are going to increase money supply. If you increase money supply, you therefore as the government ensure that that money is used for investment, for investment purposes. And also you can diversify your credit with getting money from the local from the local bond buyers, because you want to, it's good also as another leg to help the investment industry locally to stabilize it. They will need a place where they can find yield. So getting yield from the government, that is uh, more trusted. I'm looking for a better word, but I can't find it. The devil took it. So yeah, so you need the local investment market to rely on the government and the Reserve Bank to be a safety net. So that safety net will be the government bond. It's something which is trusted with an interest rate. But you do not want to get almost of that money from the people, but you also want to get most of it from the Reserve Bank itself at an interest rate that is close to zero, if not negative. You can do that because the money is yours, the country is yours, the Reserve Bank is yours. You do not want to burden yourself as a government. You can create a whole lot of money and use it for investment purposes, that you will pay back that money over time. Whether you pay it back or do not pay it back, it doesn't really matter, as long as the discipline is focused on non-wasteful expenditure. Because if you have got wasteful expenditure, it will appear as unwanted inflationary pressures, and also it's going to be it's going to have a boomerang negative effect across the whole economy. So if your fiscal discipline is focused on money creation for the sake of creating tangible value, so if we create money and to and educate our people, there is tangible value in an educated society. There is tangible value in infrastructure that you can see with your own eyes and actually interact with it and use it. We're talking about infrastructure that is useful, that has got utility. So you are investing in those national utilities that have got a positive return on investment, whether that return is financial return or is a social return. That those are the parameters that you're looking at. Those are the things that you're looking at, not what these lying economists of the IMF and the World Bank will be telling you, because their intentions really, those Bretton Woods institutions, is not to develop the world. They can call themselves developmental agencies, but I can tell you that they are lying. They are not developmental agencies. They are agencies of imperialism to keep our countries poor and miserable. We must call them for what they are, and my country Zimbabwe should get out of the World Bank and the reserve in the IMF system of influence. Also, another people that you should be careful of, this is what the South Africans also must be careful of: the S&P and Fitch rating agencies. We do not need their input. They can make noise there in New York. I do not need them in my country in Zimbabwe. I do not need them. I do not need them. First of all, I'm not gonna start ask for investments there from them. Their whole street must come to my country to invest because they see yield, not because I'm going there to beg them for their money. No, 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 no. It doesn't work like that. Not anymore. We are not fools. We're not fools. They might have fooled our former leaders and made and bought Africa for cents on the dollar, but not when I'm president, not when I'm leading. Holy is the Lord. These are not like that. Those S&P and Fitch rating agencies that are rating government bonds, these people are making noise. Rating agencies, you know what they do when they downgrade a country? They are making the debt of a country very expensive. A country is paying interest rates that it mustn't pay at the end of the day. Because why? I mean, let me ask you a question, economist. Why must a country pay a high interest rate on money that itself is backed on nothing? On fiat currency that is created out of thin air, and I must be paying 10-15% annual interest on that. For what? Why should I make that person richer who created money out of thin air? Why can't I create money out of thin air for my own bank, for my own reserve bank? Because here's the thing: if you say that, oh, it's inflationary, this is just, look at this foolishness. If the government were to borrow money from international markets, right, and these are exorbitant interest rates, and you are increasing broad-based money supply in the country, right? Even if it is borrowed from the Americans, right, you are increasing money supply. But then if you do not use it for productive or investment purposes, you are just increasing more money, chasing fewer goods. That also is inflationary as well and is negative. So what the hell? Why are you borrowing money from out there? Why don't you create it on your own and therefore redefine what discipline is? Discipline is now therefore the ratio of money that you create going for investment. That ratio must be more on investment and less on consumption. So if you were to manage that, you will see that if even the inflationary pressure won't be that much, and indeed you do need inflation anyway to run an economy, because you don't want the deflation that can cripple industries. So if you have got some level of inflation, one, and the rate at which the real rate of interest that you are paying for that loan is close to zero, government is safe. And over time, because of inflation, the nominal value over time becomes less and less because of being eroded by inflation. But you see, you must be very judicial in the use of that mechanism, because lazy governments run hyperinflation, let hyperinflation run, so that their domestic rate can be reduced by that by the inflation. You understand what I'm talking about? So you do not want to, you want to be judicial in the use of that. You understand? In that way, you can have balance on both legs, okay? Because you don't want to burden the government, you don't want to burden the private sector, but you want to be exchanging the burden to and fro, to and fro. The government will benefit on inflation because the real nominal debt in real terms will be going down because of inflationary pressures, and but then you shouldn't be too much. If it is too much, it is the public that will bear that that pain, because we do know that inflation is carried by the public. Understand? So, and inflation also is another form of taxation. Hence, I am saying that in my government, we should not be so quick to tax our people that are in the informal sector. We must formalize them without overtaxing them. Because after all, why do you collect taxes? You collect taxes for tax revenues so that you can provide government services, right? Now, sometimes there are some services that the people can provide themselves. For example, if I'm not going to tax my people a lot, these people are making noise. If I'm not going to tax my people, therefore my people will pay for their education. You understand? So it's in a way, in a situation in which the government provides free education, but we know that there's no free lunch. The government providing free health services, we know there's nothing like that. That money comes from taxation. So instead of taxing the people, let the people pay for their health, let the people pay for their education. But even that, still you're taking it with a salt. You don't want the extremities of either. You don't want universal free health and education. You do not want universal capitalistic tendencies on health and education, but you want to strike a nice balance, and a very surgical approach in how you deal with these things. There's other vulnerable sectors of the society. So bear that in mind as well in the formulation of policy. And I have to talk because this ones here that don't even know what's wrong with them. I really do not know why people have to make so much noise in the afternoon. Thank you anyway. You're gonna watch another video. Thank you. Name is Ngobani Zonde. Thank you for watching the Reels on the Commission.